Welcome to the Growth Room. Today we're exploring one of the most influential psychology books ever written, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini. In this audiobook summary, you'll discover the psychological principles that shape everyday decisions, learn how ethical persuasion works, and understand how to recognize and protect yourself from manipulation. Whether you're a student trying to ace your next presentation, an entrepreneur building a business, a content creator connecting with an audience, or simply someone who wants to navigate daily interactions with more clarity and confidence, this guide is built for you. Think about the last time you bought something online. Maybe it was a pair of sneakers, a tech gadget, or a digital course. Why did you choose that specific item? Was it because you genuinely needed it right then? Or did a little tag saying, "Only 2 items left in stock," push you over the edge? Or perhaps you saw a long string of 5-star reviews for people just like you. Every single day, we make hundreds of decisions. We like to think of ourselves as completely logical beings, weighing every option carefully before taking action. But behavioral science tells a very different story. Enter Dr. Robert Cialdini. As a social psychologist, Cialdini noticed a fascinating pattern. He found himself constantly saying yes to sales representatives, fundraisers, and marketers, even when he didn't particularly want what they were selling. He began to wonder, what are the hidden triggers that make people comply with requests? To find out, he didn't just stay in a university lab. He went undercover. He spent 3 years training with car salesmen, fundraising organizations, and telemarketers, observing firsthand how compliance professionals get people to agree. What he discovered forms the foundation of modern behavioral psychology. To understand why persuasion works, we first have to look at how the human brain evolved. We live in an incredibly complex, fast-paced environment. Every second, our senses are bombarded with information. If our brains had to consciously evaluate every single detail before making a decision, analyzing the pros, cons, costs, and historical data of every choice, we would collapse from mental exhaustion before breakfast. To survive, the brain developed mental shortcuts. In psychology, these are called heuristics. Cialdini describes these shortcuts as automatic click or responses. Think of it like a pre-programmed tape player. When a specific trigger happens, click, a sequence of predictable, automatic behaviors plays out where. A classic example of this involves mother turkeys. A mother turkey is incredibly loving and protective of her chicks, but her maternal instincts are triggered almost entirely by one specific sound, the cheep cheep of her babies. If a chick makes that sound, the mother cares for it. If it doesn't, she might ignore it or even attack it. In a famous experiment, researchers placed a stuffed polecat, the natural enemy of the turkey, near a mother turkey. Predictably, she attacked it. But when they put a small speaker inside the fake polecat that played the cheep cheep sound, the mother turkey not only stopped attacking, but she actually gathered the toy under her wings. The single sound triggered the automatic motherly behavior. Human beings have their own versions of click or loops. For instance, we tend to follow a subconscious rule. Expensive equals good. If we see 2 items and one costs 4 times as much, we automatically assume it possesses higher quality, craftsmanship, or status, without checking the manufacturing details. Compliance professionals, marketers, advertisers, and skilled negotiators know exactly where these automatic buttons are, and they press them to get us to say yes. This brings us to a crucial crossroads, the deep distinction between ethical persuasion and manipulation. Persuasion is the art of highlighting genuine value, building authentic trust, and guiding someone toward a choice that naturally benefits both parties. It respects human autonomy and communicates honestly. Manipulation, on the other hand, uses these psychological shortcuts like a weapon. It creates fake urgency, fabricates social proof, and tricks the brain into making decisions it wouldn't normally make, leaving the person feeling cheated or filled with regret. Our goal throughout this summary is dual purpose. First, we want to master these principles so you can communicate your ideas, products, or messages more effectively, whether you're trying to land a job in an interview, pitch a startup to investors, or build strong personal relationships. Second, we want to equip you with an intellectual shield, giving you the critical thinking skills and emotional awareness needed to spot when someone is trying to pull the strings of your automatic programming. When you understand how behavioral psychology operates under the surface, you stop reacting blindly and start responding intentionally. You become an active participant in your choices rather than a passive target for clever marketing campaigns. Over the course of this journey, we will break down the 7 core pillars of influence that Cialdini uncovered, revealing the science behind why they work and exploring how you can apply them directly to modern challenges like social media algorithms, online commerce, and professional networking. Let's begin exploring these principles one by one, starting with one of the most powerful social forces in human history, the rule of deeply felt obligation. The 7 principles of persuasion. Principle 1. Reciprocity, the law of give and take. Imagine you're walking down a busy city street, and someone hands you a beautiful, fresh flower as a gift. They smile, tell you it's a token of goodwill, and refuse to take it back. A moment later, they ask if you'd like to make a small donation to their charity. Even if you have absolutely no interest in the cause, you will likely feel a sudden, intense pressure to open your wallet. Why? Because your brain has just run straight into the rule of reciprocity. This principle states that humans are deeply wired to return favors, gifts, and kindnesses. If someone does something nice for us, we feel an internal psychological burden to give something back in return. This isn't just a polite social custom. It is a fundamental, evolutionary survival mechanism. Ancient human societies thrived because our ancestors learned to share resources, tools, and food. If a hunter shared their catch today, they knew that when food was scarce next week, the tribe would feed them. This created a network of hidden, unwritten IOUs that allowed communities to collaborate, trade, and build civilizations. Because this rule is so deeply embedded in our collective DNA, violating it carries a heavy social cost. Nobody wants to be labeled a freeloader, a moocher, or ungrateful. To avoid these painful social penalties, we will go to great lengths to repay what we owe. Unexpected favor/gift given, internal psychological debt, compliance with future requests. The true power of reciprocity lies in how easily it can be exploited. A manipulator can trigger this massive wave of obligation by offering an uninvited, minor favor and then turning around to ask for a much larger favor later. Because the feeling of psychological debt is so deeply uncomfortable, we often agree to highly unequal trades just to clear the emotional scoreboard. Think about how this plays out in modern business and marketing. Have you ever downloaded a free ebook, used a 14-day free trial of a software platform, or accepted a complimentary sample of a product at a local store? While these can be genuine acts of value, they also serve a dual psychological purpose. The moment you consume that free piece of value, the reciprocity clock starts ticking. When the company eventually asks you to buy the full subscription or the complete product, your brain feels a strong push to say yes to balance the scale. Ethical application and everyday use. So, how do you use this principle ethically without becoming a manipulator? The secret lies in your intention. For content creators and entrepreneurs, focus on giving massive, genuine value up front with absolutely no strings attached. Share your best tips, create educational guides, or offer free consultations. When you genuinely help someone succeed first, you build real equity. When you finally pitch a product or a service down the road, your audience won't feel tricked. They will feel eager to support you because you've earned their trust. For professionals and students, be the person who proactively helps others. Share your study notes, stay late to help a coworker fix a bug, or connect a peer with a valuable contact. By planting these seeds of genuine goodwill without expecting immediate returns, you naturally build a powerful, supportive network that will rally around you when you need help or a professional recommendation. Defending against manipulation. To defend against weaponized reciprocity, you have to change how you view the initial interaction. If someone offers you a gift, an unexpected favor, or a free trial, accept it with an open mind. There is nothing wrong with accepting kindness. However, If you realize that the gift was actually a calculated trap designed solely to make you buy something you don't need, reframe the situation in your mind. A trick is not a gift. You're under no moral obligation to return a favor for an administrative sales tactic. Once you recognize the trap for what it is, the psychological pressure evaporates, and you can walk away completely guilt-free. Principle 2, commitment and consistency. Let's look at a fascinating psychological experiment that reveals a strange quirk in human behavior. Researchers wanted to see if they could convince neighborhood residents to place a massive, ugly billboard in their front yards that read, "Drive carefully." Unsurprisingly, when asked directly, 83% of the residents flatly refused. However, with a separate group of residents, the researchers tried a different approach. 2 weeks earlier, a different volunteer had visited these homes and asked the residents to display a tiny 3-inch sign that read, "Be a safe driver." It was such a small, effortless request that almost everyone said yes. When the researchers returned 2 weeks later to ask this group to put up the giant, ugly billboard, an astonishing 76% of them agreed. This spectacular jump in compliance is driven by the principle of commitment and consistency. Psychology tells us that human beings have an intense, obsessive desire to be, and appear to be, consistent with their past words, beliefs, and actions. Once we take a stand, make a statement, or buy into an idea, we face enormous internal and external pressure to behave in ways that justify that earlier decision. Why are we so obsessed with consistency? Because in most societies, consistency is highly valued. It is associated with personal strength, honesty, stability, and intelligence. Someone who constantly changes their mind is often viewed as fickle, untrustworthy, or scattered. Furthermore, being consistent serves as a major mental shortcut. If we always keep our choices aligned with our past decisions, we don't have to expend energy thinking through new situations. We could just hit our automatic click or button and do what we've always done. Compliance professionals exploit this by using what is known as the foot-in-the-door technique. They start by asking you for a tiny, almost insignificant commitment. Once you agree, your internal self-image shifts. You begin to tell yourself, "I'm the kind of person who cares about this cause," or "I'm a customer who likes this brand." Once that identity shift occurs, they pull out the larger request. To maintain your internal sense of alignment, you find yourself saying yes to things you never would have agreed to initially. This internal pressure is why small commitments are so effective at building long-term habits. If you want to start exercising, committing to a grueling 2-hour daily gym routine often fails because it demands too much behavioral change at once. But if you make a tiny, unbreakable commitment to just put on your running shoes and walk outside for 5 minutes every morning, your brain starts adjusting its self-image. You begin to think, "I am someone who exercises every single day." Once that identity takes root, staying consistent with longer workouts becomes a natural extension of who you are rather than an uphill battle against your own mind. Identity-based behavior is the highest form of consistency. When a behavior matches your identity, you don't need willpower to maintain it. You simply act like the person you believe you are. Ethical application and everyday use. For leaders and project managers, instead of forcing massive changes on your team overnight, secure small, public commitments first. Ask your team members to voice their input or sign off on a basic project timeline. When people publicly state their agreement or actively participate in setting a goal, their desire for personal consistency will naturally drive them to work harder to see it through to completion. For content creators and business owners, focus on micro-conversions. Instead of pitching a high-ticket product immediately, invite your audience to take a simple, free action. Ask them to drop a comment below a video, answer a one-question poll, or sign up for a newsletter. Each small interaction builds a micro-commitment, making them far more likely to engage with your major offerings down the road because they already view themselves as active members of your community. Defending against manipulation. To protect yourself from being trapped by manipulative consistency tactics, pay close attention to 2 distinct physical signals that Cialdini identifies: the feeling in your stomach and the feeling in your heart. The first signal occurs right in the pit of your stomach when you realize you're trapped into agreeing to a request that you know you don't actually want to do, simply because you felt forced by a previous small commitment. When you feel that tightening sensation, call out the tactic directly to yourself. You can tell the person requesting your compliance exactly what they are doing. There is no rule saying you must be consistent with a past decision that was engineered to deceive you. The second signal happens deep in your heart, which is where we store our true feelings before our rational brain steps in to justify our actions. Ask yourself this crucial, illuminating question. Knowing what I know now, if I could go back in time, would I make that same initial commitment again? If the honest answer is no, then drop the need to be consistent, break the chain immediately, and confidently walk away. Principle 3. Social proof, the power of the crowd. Imagine you're traveling in an unfamiliar city, looking for a place to eat dinner. You walk down a bustling street and spot two restaurants right next door to each other. Both serve the exact same type of food at identical prices. However, the first restaurant is completely empty. The waiters are standing around looking bored. The second restaurant is absolutely packed, with a lively crowd waiting in a line out the front door. Which restaurant do you choose? Almost everyone will instinctively choose the second one. We look at the crowd and instantly conclude, if everyone else is eating there, the food must be incredible. This automatic mental shortcut is driven by the principle of social proof. Uncertain situation, observe actions of others. Imitate group behavior. This principle states that when people are uncertain about what action to take, they look to the behavior of those around them to guide their own decisions. We assume that if a large group of people is doing something, they must know something we don't. Like our other shortcuts, social proof evolved as a vital survival mechanism. If our early ancestors saw their entire tribe suddenly jump up and run away into the trees, stopping to analyze the situation to see if there was a real predator nearby would be fatal. The safest, most efficient choice was to run first and ask questions later. Following the crowd saved lives. In our modern world, we use social proof constantly. It's why we check star ratings and read user reviews on Amazon or Yelp before buying a product. It's why YouTube videos with millions of views automatically look more appealing than videos with only a handful of plays. It's why television networks use laugh tracks during sitcoms. Even though we know the laughter is fake, hearing others laugh triggers our automatic response to find the jokes funnier. However, social proof becomes highly dangerous under two specific conditions: uncertainty and similarity. When we are confused or facing an entirely new situation, our reliance on social proof skyrockets. But when everyone in a crowd is looking at each other for direction, nobody actually knows what to do. This can lead to a terrifying psychological phenomenon called pluralistic ignorance, where an entire group of bystanders can witness an emergency take place, but fail to intervene because nobody else is moving, leading everyone to assume that everything must be under control. The second booster is similarity. We are far more likely to follow the lead of people we perceive to be just like us. If you see a review from a corporate executive endorsing a product, it might not move you. But if you see a review from a student or a creator who shares your exact background, budget, and daily challenges, their endorsement carries immense weight. Ethical application and everyday use. For content creators and entrepreneurs, show, don't just tell. Instead of trying to convince your audience with your own words that your product, service, or channel is valuable, let your existing community do the talking for you. Highlight real student transformations, share screenshots of positive comments, or feature deep dive case studies from people who match your target demographic. This creates a natural, welcoming environment that signals to newcomers, people like you thrive here. For job seekers and professionals, when entering an interview or networking event, don't just rely on your resume. Bring references, letters of recommendation, or case studies of past collaborative projects. Showing that other respected professionals have trusted and relied on your expertise provides instant, authentic reassurance to a hiring manager. Defending against manipulation. To protect yourself from fake social proof, look out for engineered indicators. In the digital age, Malicious marketing runs rampant with manufactured social signals, fake follower counts, automated bot reviews, and paid testimonials. When making a decision, pause and ask, is this crowd moving based on real, independent value, or are they just following a line that someone manufactured? If you notice a high-pressure online timer accompanied by an endless stream of generic, overly enthusiastic 5-star reviews that all sound identical, step back. Disconnect from the crowd, look at the objective facts of the product or service, and make your decision based on your personal needs, not mass momentum. Principle 4. Liking the friendly thief. Have you ever wondered why a friend hosting a home product party can easily convince a living room full of neighbors to buy expensive kitchenware or cosmetics they didn't even know existed an hour before? The guests don't buy because they love the brand. They buy because they love the host. This is the principle of liking. Quite simply, we are far more likely to say yes to a request if we know, like, and trust the person asking. Shared commonality/compliment. Increased affection and trust, higher compliance rate. Compliance professionals understand that making you like them is half the battle won. But what exactly makes us like someone? Behavioral psychology breaks it down into a few distinct catalysts. 1. Physical attractiveness. Our brains naturally fall victim to the halo effect. This occurs when one positive characteristic of a person dominates how we view their entire character. Studies show we automatically assign traits like honesty, intelligence, and kindness to attractive people completely unconsciously. 2. Similarity. We like people who are like us. This applies to shared hobbies, background, clothing style, or even verbal style. Salespeople are frequently trained to scan a prospect's car or home for clues, like sports gear or travel souvenirs, so they can say, "No way. You like hiking? Me too." This instant common ground builds immediate comfort. 3. Compliments. Human beings are incredibly hungry for praise. Genuine, positive feedback opens our defenses. Even when we suspect a compliment might be transactional, our subconscious still appreciates it and tilts our affection toward the giver. 4. Cooperation and shared goals. We like people who feel like teammates. When someone positions themselves as an ally fighting alongside us for a common goal, like a car salesman arguing with their manager to get you a special price, it builds powerful, rapid alignment. Ethical application and everyday use. For relationships and networking, focus on finding real, authentic common ground. Don't fake an interest just to please someone. Instead, ask open-ended questions until you discover a genuine shared passion, whether it's a favorite book, a sport, or a coding language. Practice deep, active listening and offer sincere, specific appreciation when someone does good work. For content creators, show your human side. Don't try to appear as an unapproachable, perfect guru. Share your early failures, your daily behind-the-scenes struggles, and your honest journey. When your audience sees their own struggles reflected in your story, a deep, authentic bond of liking and trust forms naturally. Defending against manipulation. Defending against the liking principle requires a sharp focus on timing. When negotiating a deal or making a purchase, monitor how quickly your feelings toward the person are changing. If you realize that you have grown to absolutely love a salesperson or representative after just 15 minutes of conversation, sound the internal alarm. Separate the salesperson from the product. Remind yourself, I am not driving this salesman home. I am driving this car. By mentally separating the pleasant human being from the actual item you're paying for, you can evaluate the deal strictly on its objective merits. Principle 5. Authority, the illusion of expertise. In a series of famous and controversial psychological experiments conducted by Dr. Stanley Milgram, everyday citizens were instructed by a researcher wearing a crisp white lab coat to administer increasingly painful electric shocks to a stranger in an adjacent room. The stranger was actually an actor pretending to be in agony, screaming for the experiment to stop. Despite their deep personal discomfort and visible distress, an astonishing 65% of the participants continued to turn the voltage dials all the way up to the maximum, potentially lethal level, simply because the man in the lab coat looked them in the eye and calmly said, "The experiment requires that you continue." This sobering study reveals the immense power of the principle of authority. From childhood, we are conditioned to obey legitimate figures of expertise: parents, teachers, doctors, judges, and leaders. This deep-seated societal training exists because genuine authority figures usually possess greater knowledge, wisdom, and power. Following their guidance saves us from making costly mistakes, acting as an efficient mental shortcut for making correct decisions. Authority symbol, uniform/title, assumption of absolute expertise, unquestioning obedience. However, our brains are so eager to defer to experts that we often react blindly to the mere symbols of authority rather than actual expertise. Compliance professionals regularly exploit this by using 3 highly effective symbols. 1. Titles. Prefixes like doctor, professor, CEO, or expert instantly alter our perception of a person's intelligence and even their physical stature. 2. Clothing. Uniforms, sharp business suits, or white lab coats command immediate, unquestioning compliance for bystanders. 3. Trappings. Expensive jewelry, luxury cars, and high-end offices send an implicit signal of elite status and unassailable credibility. Ethical application and everyday use. For professionals and entrepreneurs, you do not need to fake credentials to build authority. Instead, lead with genuine competence, data, and clear communication. If you're preparing for a job interview or pitching to business owners, anchor your arguments in objective research, present case studies of past success, and clearly explain the why behind your strategies. For content creators, build credibility by demonstrating your process transparently. Show your working methods, cite your sources, and openly share the data or books that formed your insights. True authority doesn't shout, it educates, defending against manipulation. To protect yourself from blind obedience, Cialdini suggests asking 2 critical questions when someone claims the mantle of leadership. First, is this authority member truly an expert in this specific field? This forces your brain to separate a generic symbol, like a celebrity endorsing a financial stock, from actual, relevant competence. Second, how truthful can we expect this expert to be right now? This alerts you to any hidden financial incentives or manipulative marketing motives they might have, allowing you to process their advice with healthy, critical thinking. Principle 6, scarcity, the rule of the few. Imagine you're browsing a booking website for a weekend getaway. You find a beautiful room, but right beneath the description, a bold red alert flashes. Only one room left at this price, instantly followed by 32 other people are viewing this page right now. Your heart rate spikes, your focus narrows, and you rapidly reach for your credit card. You have just been swept up by the principle of scarcity. This law states that people assign significantly higher value to opportunities, items, and experiences that are rare, dwindling, or difficult to obtain. If something is abundant, we ignore it. If it's about to vanish, we desperately want it. This reaction is driven by 2 psychological forces. First, we use availability as a shortcut. If an item is scarce, we assume it must be high quality or highly sought after. Second, as an opportunity becomes less available, we experience a phenomenon called psychological reactance. Human beings absolutely hate losing their freedom of choice. When a limited deadline or short supply threatens to take an option off the table, we react by wanting that specific option more than ever before. Limited availability/time, threatened freedom of choice, emotional surge, and desire value. Ethical application and everyday use. For marketers and business owners, use scarcity only when it reflects absolute reality. If your cohort has limited seats because you want to give personalized attention to each student, state that honestly. If an offer ends on Friday because your operational costs change, communicate that clearly. Authentic scarcity builds trust and encourages decisive action. Fake urgency destroys your reputation forever. Defending against manipulation. When scarcity strikes, our emotions hijack our rational minds. To defend yourself, remember this crucial rule. Scarce things do not taste, feel, or perform any better just because they are rare. The joy of scarcity lies in possessing the item, not in using it. When you feel that familiar surge of online panic, hit the pause button. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, do I want this item because it is genuinely useful to me, or am I just reacting to the fact that it might disappear? Principle 7. Unity, the we effect. The final principle, added by Cialdini in later editions of his work, is the principle of unity. This goes beyond simple similarity. Unity is about a deeply shared identity. It is the profound psychological bond that forms when we categorize ourselves in the same group as someone else. We look at them and think they are one of us. Whether it is based on family ties, shared ethnicities, die-hard sports fandoms, or tight-knit online communities, we naturally trust and cooperate with members of our own group while remaining skeptical of outsiders. When you belong to a tribe, persuasion becomes incredibly seamless because the group's shared values dictate individual behavior, ethical application, and everyday use. For leaders and community builders, focus on creating an authentic shared mission. Use inclusive we language. Instead of telling a team or an audience what they should do, frame the challenge as a collective journey. Here is how we're going to solve this together. Co-create rules, build shared rituals, and rally your community around a unified, inspiring vision, defending against manipulation and modern applications. Now that we have unpacked all 7 principles of influence, we have built a complete, master-level blueprint of behavioral science. But how do we tie all of this together into a practical action plan for the digital age? In our modern world, we face constant persuasion challenges. Social media algorithms are designed to maximize your screen time by feeding you tailored social proof and echo chambers of unity. Online retail platforms use fake urgency, manipulative countdown timers, and clickbait headlines to trigger your psychological reactance and force impulsive buying decisions. Even phishing scams leverage artificial authority by mimicking official banking emails or urgent security alerts. To successfully navigate this landscape, you need to implement a daily ethical framework. True influence isn't about tricking people. It's about building long-term trust, communicating with absolute transparency, and engineering win-win situations where everyone walks away with genuine value. Your practical daily exercises. To sharpen your communication and critical thinking skills starting today, practice these 3 exercises. 1. Practice active empathy. In your next conversation, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Listen deeply to discover the other person's true motivations. When you understand what they care about, you can frame your ideas in a way that naturally aligns with their existing values. 2. Audit your decisions. The next time you find yourself clicking buy now, subscribing to a channel, or agreeing to an unexpected request, take a quick 10-second pause. Trace your choice back to its origin. Ask yourself, did I just run into reciprocity, social proof, or scarcity? Recognizing your own triggers in real time builds an elite mental shield. 3. Build authentic rapport. Look for genuine commonalities with the people you meet. Complement their actual efforts. Share your authentic journey and show real vulnerability. When you cultivate genuine liking, professional networking stops feeling like transactional sales and starts feeling like building real, lifelong allies. Thank you so much for journeying through this deep dive into the psychology of persuasion with us today. If this audiobook summary gave you a new lens through which to view your daily interactions, please take a quick moment to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and drop a comment below sharing which of the 7 principles has tripped you up the most in the past. Your engagement helps us bring more life-changing knowledge to light. Welcome home to the Growth Room. This channel is dedicated entirely to your personal and professional evolution. We break down the absolute best books in the world covering psychology, human communication, career success, peak productivity, business strategy, and personal growth. Our mission is to take complex, master-level concepts and transform them into practical, actionable roadmaps that you can use to upgrade your life every single day. If there is one massive takeaway to carry with you from Robert Cialdini's work, it is this: you are no longer a passive passenger to your automatic programming. The moment you understand how the human mind operates under the surface, you hold the keys to your own choices. Use this knowledge to build businesses ethically, speak your truth clearly, connect with your community deeply, and protect your mind from manipulative influences. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and keep executing. Your growth is completely in your hands. We will see you next time right here in the Growth Room.